Excuse me, this is the operator. I'd like to remind all parties today's conference is being recorded. If you have any objections, you may disconnect at this time. You may begin.
Well, thank you very much, and hello everyone from Washington, D.C., a beautiful autumn day here. I'm Doug Barry, International Trade Specialist with the Trade Information Center of the U.S. Commercial Service Department of Commerce, and today's program is on how to find harmonized codes, duties, and taxes. It's being recorded, so there won't be an opportunity for you to ask live questions, but I hope after you, in your own time and at your own convenience, have looked at the slides and listened to the recording, that you will send me whatever questions that you might have that arise out of the presentation today. This is part of the series, A Basic Guide to Exporting. It's based on the book that we published about a year ago, and that book is available from Amazon.com, also the government printing office at GPO.gov. It's a great reference for your office to share with your colleagues, and we hope that you'll take an opportunity to consider acquiring it as well. But we do appreciate you being here with us today for this part of the Basic Guide series. And be sure to check the schedule and the emails that you've received for upcoming programs. They're also available as soon as they're given live on Export.gov. There's a whole series of them, and we would be happy to send you that link. So here we go. Let's begin immediately. This will take about 50 minutes. Okay, first it's important to understand the difference between Schedule B and HS, or the harmonized system. The harmonized system number, this is a 6-digit import and export code based on the International Harmonized System, HS for short. Now the Schedule B is a 10-digit classification code for U.S. exports to all other countries. There's an example in the third bullet. We're going to be using the example of solar panel parts, and there is its number. As you see, the first 6 numbers are the universal code, and that means that customs officials in more than 120 countries around the world that subscribe to the harmonized code system will immediately identify from those 6 numbers that what you're sending is a solar panel part. So there is, of course, a distinct number for every commodity that's commonly traded around the world. And this is the 6th number for this particular commodity. The last 4 numbers are U.S. specific. And so that means that if you are shipping to Canada, the last 4 numbers will be different than the 9010 that you see there. But usually, the 6 digits are enough to put on your shipping documents. You will also, of course, as we go through this program and use one of the databases that we use here at the Trade Information Center, also be able to find the last 4 country-specific digits, and certainly we recommend that you use those, though it is not obligatory to do so. And then, of course, you might ask, well, what happens if, after I do all of these things, I cannot find the 6-digit number for my commodity? Well, it's certainly true that as technology has become more complex, it has become somewhat harder to find the perfect match for the commodity in question, and sometimes there's nothing even close. And what happens in those instances is that the person who is making this item, for which no 6-digit number can be found in the code itself, Customs, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, will, on written request, provide you with an opinion on your item, and they will assign a harmonized code number to it. It takes about 3 months. Certainly it's not something for immediate shipments of things, but in any case, there is a way of getting a harmonized code number for you for an item that does not exist in the code at present. And we can help you do that too. So if after our efforts and your efforts, you still cannot identify a 6-digit code that describes the function of your particular product, then we will help you apply for one from Customs. It doesn't happen very often. Most of the time we will be able, and you will be able, to find a number that approximates the good that you are sending. Now, one of the best tools that we have, and one that you will be using from today on, maybe you've had some experience with it already, is the Census Bureau's Foreign Trade Statistics Schedule B website. There is the URL for it up above. You'll want to bookmark that in your browser and consult it often. This is what it looks like. These are the different fields and sections that you will see when you open it. And this is the item with the orange circle around it on the next slide. HTPP, U.S. Census, that one, which is in pink with the orange circle around it, that is what you will click on in the Schedule B box in red there in the center of your screen. If you click on other things, you will not go to where you want to go, so make sure that you see this, identify it, and then click on it. Okay, next slide. Okay, here is, if someone's typing in the background, you might put the telephone on mute. Everyone can hear whoever it is that's typing. I appreciate you putting the telephone on mute. Thanks a lot. So here is step 2. This is what you will see when you open when you click on that link. You will go to this screen, and this is where you will put the description of your product. My product is, if you see that box underneath the Schedule B search engine, just put a short description. There's some examples down below. Ladies cotton knitted top, table runner, which also talks about the way that it's made and its contents, in this case polyester. So try to be as specific as you can, but it needn't be lengthy, and just put it in that box there. I would put in the solar panels, and we'll see that in a second. There's the box. Put the circle around it. That's where you put in the description. Okay, so there's solar panel parts. That's what I put in. And now let's see what happens next when I click on Search. Okay, so it gives me some other text there. And it is going down to the middle of the page, under Known Characteristics. You see there solar panel and other. And it gives you some examples of what that might be. And then further down in the light blue there, it identifies the chapter of the Harmonized System Code. It'll be Chapter 85, which includes, in a general sense, electrical machinery and equipment and parts, sound recording. It's a big, big category with lots of different things included in it. And then if it appears that this is, in general correct, there's also there, look down, it says, modules made up into panels, light-emitting diodes, which is getting closer and closer, crystals, and then there is another category of parts. So let's see what happens next. All right, so it looks like it's going to be a part in this larger category. See the orange circle there, 8541.90. And then you would click on Get Schedule B Number below that. Let's see what happens when we do it. There's the button with the circle around it. And now we go next. Okay, this takes us back to the previous screen. So let's, the Schedule B validation. And that's that number there. Put in the 8541.80 that we got from the previous page. And this is what it gives us next. The 10-digit number, diode, transistor, and similar semiconductor device parts. There's the number, the 10-digit number. If you want to remember for the shipping documents that this number will need to go on, and we'll talk about those shortly. Okay, let's try another one. Rough oak wooded pieces. That goes under My Product Is, and then we'll click Search, and this is what it gives us. Wood is the key word there, and then it gives us some choices. In the rough, lengthwise sawn, lengthwise chipped, sliced, or peeled, and below that, shaped continuously along the edges, ends, or faces. So we're going to say it's in the rough because that's part of our description. Rough oak wood pieces. These are not finished or laminated painted pieces. They're rough oak. So that's the closest description that we have. And then it asks for some further description in the light blue, painted, stained, or creosoted, and then it gives us other. You'll notice that other is often a default, which is fine to use if it is not indicated by the previous descriptors, painted, stained, or creosoted. If it's something else, the other would be the correct selection there. And so we're going to circle that because it's not painted, or stained, or creosoted. Remember, it's rough. Doesn't have any of those things. So this then gives us the chapter that it is located in. It's chapter 44, so the first two digits will be 44, and that is in wood and articles of wood, wood and charcoal. So we now know that it's 4403.91, and we're going to get the Schedule B number. There it is. There that is. It's not beech, it's oak. Okay. And there is, this is just sort of a brief preview of what you're going to see next. And this is the search engine that will allow you to calculate the duties and taxes and go down to we're going to ship this to Canada. So we've typed that in there, and then this is going to be below that you will find this box which has the contents on the left, duties and taxes, and then below that there is another category there. There it is for other. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so this is where the harmonized code would go that we found on the pro forma invoice, a typical shipping document that will accompany the shipment to your buyer. And as you see in the orange there, this is where the harmonized number would go in that, just below that little orange box. Once you know it, once you found it, as you've just demonstrated that you can find it through the system, through the Census Bureau website and their search engine, and we find the code. This is one of the examples of the form in which the code would go on. And here's another one. We're going to take you through here a couple of different commercial invoices. Here's one, for example, that is supplied by one of the freight forwarding companies, express shipment companies, FedEx. If you use them, or will use them in the future, they will also ask you through their automated system, their online system where you print out your shipping documents. There is the place for the harmonized code number right there with the orange box. That's where your code, your 6 or 10-digit code would go. You can do the 6. If you have the last 4 numbers that are U.S. specific, that's fine too. And here is the North America Free Trade Agreement certificate. If you're taking advantage of excuse me, NAFTA, the duty-free benefit of goods that are made in one of the NAFTA signatory countries, United States, Canada, or Mexico. This is the document that you fill out in order for the buyer to get the duty-free benefit, and this is where the harmonized code number, the HS number, goes right below that little orange box. Okay, so many countries impose duties and taxes on their on items that are coming into their country, and some governments apply multiple taxes and fees. In some cases, it's just two. One of them is the duty, and the other one is a sales tax. But in some countries, such as India and Brazil, there are a number of different fees that must be calculated so that the buyer knows what they're getting on the other end when the goods arrive. And they'll want to know in advance what the cost of these goods is. They want to have a sense of what the total cost is going to be so there is no surprises. And this landed cost that the buyer will often ask you for and expect you to provide is called a landed cost. That is, all of the costs, including the selling price, the insurance, the freight charge, and the duties and taxes, and any extra fees that might be involved. And remember, these are estimates. You will try to the best of your ability to estimate them accurately, but in the end, the people who will determine the tax and the duty will be the customs people in the country to which your goods are being sent. So you need to take that into consideration, and you need to make sure your buyer understands that these are estimates. They may vary depending on what the customs officials determine when the physical goods have arrived at the port of entry. And you can itemize these costs on your commercial invoice, or you can send them in advance by email or fax to your buyer in response to a request for the landed costs. And there are a number of ways to estimate. First, you can go through your freight forwarder or courier company if you have one. They will help you estimate these things, give you an estimate for them. You can call us at the U.S. Commercial Service. There's our toll-free number, 1-800-USA-TRADE. We will give you the duties and taxes. We will also help you find the harmonized code number if you have difficulties doing so using the systems that we've introduced you to here. And you can use the Export.gov website with the customs info database for the tariff and country information page for the taxes. We'll introduce those to you in just a second. There are two online tools, and we'll certainly feature one here, and we'll show you where those are. Now, this is the newest version of Export.gov. This is the home page that you see on this slide, and there's tremendous information here. Sometimes it gets to be overwhelming, but if you're looking for the duties and tax information to be able to estimate them on your own without assistance from another organization, you will click the Solutions button there at the top. That's Export.gov. That's the URL. Bookmark it for future reference, because I think you'll be going there a lot, not just for this information, but for all of the other information that's available here that will help you plan to enter new markets and to be able to comprehend what you will encounter there. Then you will click on International Logistics, which is the third one from the top. It's underlined there. You'll see it. Click on that. And it will take you to this page, the International Logistics page. Take a look at that, and it has information on finding a freight forwarder. It has a link to the Schedule B and HS Number search engine that we've just quickly walked you through. And most importantly for this part of the presentation, it will help you estimate the tariffs and duties on your item. There it is. So all you'll have to do is click on that light blue, and it will take you to this page, Tariffs and Import Fees. You'll read about what they are and what they aren't. You'll learn that a duty and a tariff are interchangeable terms, so don't think that they're separate charges. They're really the same thing. Duty and tariff are the same. And then there's the link to the Schedule B search engine, but you'll want to go a little farther down the page, Step 2, determine your tariff rates. And there's a number of resources for you to consider here. Country-specific tax and tariff information, that's the first one. U.S. government tariff resources for agricultural exports. So if you're exporting an agricultural export, a food product, that's where you would go for that. Then there's the online tariff database. These are free. These are accessible to you. All you have to do, and we'll tell you how to do that in a minute, is put your email address in there. This is for the third bullet there. It's probably the most comprehensive of the lot. And then beneath that, the tariff and tax information for U.S. territories, the Virgin Islands and so forth, that are included there. If you're sending a gift, there's special information there. This is different than a commercial sale. You, the audience today, are mostly business people engaged in commercial sales, so that wouldn't apply to you. And then there's some additional tax and tariff resources below that. This is the one that we're going to focus on today. I think it's because it's the most comprehensive. It includes the most countries and has the most up-to-date information, and that's certainly what you're looking for. So let's look further at that third bullet down with the orange circle around it, online tariff database. All right, and then there's the country-specific database tax information that has the entire book, and this is a PDF file of the tariff book for each of the countries. So if you really want to get in to the very complex information, that's a good place to look. You can certainly cross-check as well. That might be another thing you want to do. But the third bullet there, the online tariff base, is the easiest one and the one that we commonly use here at the Trade Information Center. And when you click on it, this is what you'll go to. Here's the page, and there's a little bit of descriptive text there. But the most important thing is the field up on the right-hand side, the little box there, where you will put your email and then create an account for yourself. It's very easy to do. And once you have this account, it will be your account for all time, and you can go there as many times as you need to. That's it. Just click on that, and it will walk you through what you need to do. Now, this is sort of the typical arrangement of the page. Here is the country information. It's a pull-down menu, and you will find the country. In this case, it's the Czech Republic. It's all alphabetical. So the country where your goods are going is the one that you want to click on, and that starts the process of finding the duties and taxes and other fees that are going there. So we're putting our harmonized code number in there, 8541.90. It will take a period in between the fourth and fifth digit there, or you can just type them all in without the period. And then what it does is it gives you this description here, which is a very brief description, not as detailed as the one that we found earlier, but there's the code. It matches up right, although it has the last four digits are zeros, so we know we're on the right path. And then it has this little icon there in the middle. Make sure that the screen that you will be looking at has that, because that has the detailed information. If it doesn't have an icon, it will not give you what you're looking for. So make sure you select one with the icon. And let's go to the next. All right, there's our tariff number that we put in the box. We typed it in. That's the area in which it will give us the information. And make sure it has that little icon. And we click on that icon, and this is what it gives us. There's the Czech Republic, the number, and here on the right-hand side, to the right of the dialog box with the Czech Republic in it, it gives us our familiar Chapter 85, electrical machinery, and that's what this is part of. We look down and we see photovoltaic cells, whether or not assembled in modules or made up into panels, so that gives us an even stronger clue that this is the right number and that we're going to get the right duty and tax for it. And then we look further down, and there we will see detailed duties and taxes, gives us the country, gives us the harmonized code number, says that it originates in the United States. That's where the product is made. The country of shipment is the United States. And the first little bit of good news that we see there is that it's tariff-free. And it's probably tariff-free because the Czech Republic makes nothing similar, wants very much to have this technology, and so the government has decided that there will be no tariff placed on it. It will be tariff-free, which is great because it means that the cost to the consumer, the buyer, is going to be less than some other kind of commodity in which there is a significant tariff on it. So that's good. We always like to see the zero tariff. Not all of them will be, and that's okay too, but we always can see there the advantage to the buyer when they don't have to pay the tariff going into the country. All right, and then you'll click on this Calculate button, which is right next to the United States dialog box, the orange circle that just went around it. Click on that. There's the larger box that you see related to it. There's the zero tariff calculation for that part of it. There's the tariff treatment, which is how it's going to be treated and what percentage you will pay, in this case nothing. Okay, now that's that box, and if you wanted to look at this country-specific tariff and tax information, take a quick look at it as an alternative. There's the Czech Republic. There's the entire 2006 tariff schedule that is on PDF, and you will be able to scroll through it and find exactly what you're looking for with the harmonized code number. You'll also find that there is a value-added tax of 19% for most goods and services, and the VAT is applied to CIF plus duty. This is CIF means the cost of the goods, that is the price that you're selling them for, plus the I, which is the insurance, plus the freight, which is how much your freight company is costing you to get it from your back door to the buyer, plus the duty, if there is one. And then that's added all together, and then you multiply it by 19%. That gives you the tax that your buyer will have to pay in order to purchase this product from you. He's not paying you, he's paying the Czech government, but they may want to know what it is before it departs. And then in some cases, the shipping company will offer to pay these duties and taxes up front when they clear the goods through customs. And then they have a service where they will bill you. This means that the buyer does not have to pay you directly for this and will only pay once the goods have been cleared, and you will be responsible for reimbursing the shipping company, a UPS, a FedEx, so forth. But this is why it's important for you to estimate as accurately as possible the full landed cost. What you can say, of course, to the buyer is that I will bill you after I get the duties and tax costs. These are the final costs. You've estimated them already, but you want to wait until the customs people have cleared it and have determined that final cost, and then you will bill them for this amount. It makes it easy that way because the goods are delivered directly to them. There's no need to go to a post office or to a UPS or a FedEx office to pick up their goods. It will go directly to them, and then they'll get a bill after you get your bill from the carrier, and then they will pay you for those duties and taxes, which are generally their responsibility to pay unless you've made alternative arrangements with them. But the general practice is that the buyer pays those fees. Okay, so let's estimate how to do this now. We're going to calculate the tariff and tax in a pretend kind of situation. Let's say the invoice value is $10,000. A nice tidy sum for the solar panels. and the insurance is $1,000, and the freight is $2,500. And so your CIF value, your cost plus insurance plus freight, equals $13,500. There's no duty, so no duty is owed. It's zero. And we have the value-added tax of 19%. So we add the $13,500, multiply it by 19%, and we come out with $2,565. That is what the buyer owes their government for clearing that item through customs and bringing that into the country. That's the tax on that item. It's like a sales tax. And, of course, they're used to paying those sales taxes for things within the country, so it doesn't surprise them when they have to pay it on goods that are imported from outside the country. So the total then is the $13,500, nothing for the tariff or duty, $2,565 for the VAT, and the total of $16,065 is the total landed costs. And that is from your back door or port side in the United States to their front door in Austria, Dusseldorf, Argentina, Australia, or wherever the product is headed, the Czech Republic. Okay, so let's look at some special cases. And remember, you are not alone in doing this, and you're not expected in every case to do it by yourself. In fact, you never have to do it. If you would rather rely on the freight forwarder or the U.S. government, they'll be happy. We will be happy to do it for you. And if in the cases of these countries, it's sometimes very helpful for you to consult with us before the shipping happens. So call us at that number, 1-800-USA-TRADE, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. East Coast time. And if you have a transaction involving Australia, for which we have a free trade agreement, so zero is the tariff, but determining whether it is eligible for the duty-free status may take a little conversation, and it has to have a certain U.S. content in order to qualify. And sometimes computing that, calculating that content can be a little bit of a challenge, and we can help you do that. Brazil, with whom we do not have a free trade agreement, has rather complicated rules and procedures. It often involves more than just the tariff and the value-added tax. So some additional fees may be necessary, and to spell all those out and help you calculate them, the call is advisable. Chile is another country with which we have a free trade agreement, so trying to get you, if you're eligible for it, your buyer is eligible, the benefit, the zero tariff on goods going between the United States and Chile, a call to us would be helpful. Same thing is true of the Central America Free Trade Agreement. These are the countries that are involved in that: Costa Rica, the Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. Anything going there potentially is zero tariff, but it's helpful to have a conversation about the U.S. content in the product that you're sending. Often they also need a certificate of origin, which we can also help you acquire and prepare. India, not a free trade country yet. Maybe one day it will be, which would be a very good thing considering the size of that market and their impressive economic growth. But it is one of the more complicated countries to get goods in. The good news is that they're becoming a more open market than they have been in the past, but there's still a lot of potential fees and taxes that are laid on, and we want to make sure that you calculate all of them, or aware of all of them, and have them all included so that when you quote a price to your buyer, including the landed costs, your estimates are as accurate as they possibly can. The Indian buyers that you'll be dealing with are certainly very familiar with the system in their country, and they will help work with you. They will not be surprised when you tell them of all these fees and charges because they're prepared to pay them, but they might expect you to, come to them with the calculations in hand. And in order to do that, you should give us a call. And then after countries, Canada and Mexico, and Switzerland sometimes too has some complications there in calculating the stuff. So we suggest that when you are shipping a good to Switzerland, that you give us a call before you complete the shipping documents. So that's the special cases. Okay, now a quick review of where we've been already. The harmonized system, it's important to have your HS number. One of the first things that you should do is know what it is for your products or your product line. You may have a number of different products with different functions and therefore different harmonized code numbers, and it's advisable that you know what the harmonized code number is for each different product that you produce and that you are likely to sell internationally. And remember, it's the first 6 digits are standardized internationally. They're all the same. 847112 is the same thing in the United States, and it's the same thing in 100+ other countries. The Schedule B number, on the other hand, is the 10-digit code for all U.S. exports, and the last 4 digits can vary by country. And usually it's acceptable to put all 10 digits down that are the U.S. Schedule B on the shipping documents, some of which we reviewed earlier in the webinar. And if you have the last 4 digits for the specific country that they're going to, and remember, you will be able to get those from the database that we looked at first. That is the 3rd bullet down. That's the one that we use, and the one that you use your email address for your passcode. On that final screen, the last 4 numbers will be the numbers for the particular country that it's going to. And by all means, use that one if you have it. But these first 6 numbers, or the 10 for the harmonized system for the U.S., the Schedule B number will be fine. Okay, and then you find, then the next step, after you have, or while you're attempting to find the harmonized code number, you will find it most readily by using the Schedule B search number at the Census.gov website, and use the search or the browse function. They'll work equally well. And if you cannot divine from those descriptions what the number is, or don't feel comfortable using one that doesn't seem to hit all of the keywords that you think it should feature, then call us and we'll put our heads together and we'll look at what you've done and we'll see if there is a more accurate number to be found anywhere. And make sure that you verify it. It's always better to call us, even if it seems fairly clear, and just have somebody else take a look at it to make sure that it's the right one. And then also remember too, if you cannot find it anywhere, and we cannot find it, it may be that it's a product that doesn't have its own number yet because it involves technology and involves a function that's not easily found in the existing code numbers. And in this case, we ask for a review and opinion from the Customs and Border Protection of the United States, and they will, within 3 months, write back and say, this is the one that you should use, or this is the correct one, and that's the one that you will use going forward. It doesn't happen in many cases, but sometimes it does, and we'd be happy to work with you in order to get that opinion from the Customs officials. Then finding the duties and taxes. Go to Export.gov. Click on Customs Info for Tariff. An alternative place is the country-specific information where you can get the taxes and the duties, and you can actually look at the country-specific book, the entire thing, telephone book size, but because of the miracle of the cloud computing, you can download these books, you can scroll through them, and you can find your duties and taxes that way. Another source is your freight forwarder. If you're using one to get your goods from point A to point B, they will find this for you and they'll help you fill out all the documentation. And then finally, call us, 1-800-USA-TRADE. We'll be happy to work with you on doing this. Okay, now let's apply what you learned. Company A would like to export a product to the Philippines. And the product description is a radio remote control apparatus. What is the harmonized code number? What is the tariff or duty? And what will the Philippines government impose on this product in the form of taxes? So that's your homework assignment, and that's the end of the program. Now let me give you an alternative homework assignment. The alternative homework assignment is to use the system in this process to find your harmonized code number for the goods that you make or are responsible for shipping. And use that as the practice test here. Find the harmonized code number for it. You can call us if you want. We'll give it to you. And use the databases that we have demonstrated here to find the harmonized, to find the duties and taxes on your item and any other fees that might be involved to any country that you either pick out of the air or that you are already doing business with or are likely to do business with in the future. And calculate those things, calculate the landed costs, and then send them to me. That's me, Doug.Barry@Trade.gov. Send those to me, and within a short period of time, I will get back to you either by phone or by email and let you know what I have found by running the numbers in a similar way and putting your product in the Schedule B search engine, looking at books if I have to, calling other people if necessary, and then we'll put our heads together and we'll see how close you came. And maybe you hit the nail on the head or maybe you missed it by a mile, but in any case, we'll have a chance at that point to circle back and make sure that what you have at the end of the day is correct. Okay? All this will be completely confidential, and it's just something special that we like to do for our people who attend these webinars, and hopefully will become our clients as we help you enter new markets and expand your international sales through the various special programs that we have as provided by our wonderful global network with colleagues in more than 85 countries, and we have trade specialists who are ready to help you throughout the United States in export assistance centers, and they're willing and waiting to have a conversation with you about your international expansion needs, and hopefully this will be the first step in what will be a very long and profitable relationship for you. So as we said at the beginning, this is a taped edition of this webinar. Can't take any live questions from you, but you're welcome to contact me and my colleagues here at the Trade Information Center. And once again, thanks for your time. We really appreciate it. I hope this has been useful for you. And if you have any questions, please contact us. Thanks so much, and we'll hopefully see you again on another webinar. Take care.